Hello, it's Vicki LaRoe with Modern Jewelry Makers. Thank you for clicking on this video. You are looking at our kind of Valentine's Day inspired earring collection, and we are going to run through a complete tutorial for four of them. This little one in the middle, our sweetheart earring, is pretty involved with a lot of steps. What I'll probably do for her is to do a separate video. I think we'll see how much time we have, but for sure we'll go through these four. The beautiful thing about kind of heart jewelry or heart inspired jewelry is that, right, it's not just specific to one holiday. You can wear it year round. And so these are all available on our website as kits, as well as the individual pieces and components. So if you just needed a finding or a certain component or whatever, that's available as well. But otherwise, these just give you some different ideas and some inspiration. And like pretty much all of our designs, these can look fairly simple, right? If you've been making jewelry or beaded jewelry for quite a while, it's fairly common to see earrings out and about and think, oh, I can make those. That's super easy. And you can definitely make these. But the thing with our designs is I always kind of take it a step beyond that. And so there are some specific little tweaks and tricks in here that I'm going to show you that are not so obvious just when you're looking at something. And so that is why we do the kits and the videos, to kind of show you these little tips that will help, elevate your jewelry and put it together very securely and professionally. Okay, so I'm going to scoot these out of the way. We're going to probably go through maybe little hearts and hoops first, because that's probably the easiest one. And then I'll do the matching, the other earring for both of these designs, because those have a couple of extra steps, as well as these in the back. And then I have some other Valentine's Day jewelry I can show you as well. Now, I know you're looking at this little gray pad that is generally used for photography. So try to not look at the lines on it. We're going to use it today because I've had issues with color. And some of the last videos have looked kind of dark. So I want to kind of see if this will make a difference and have it show up better. I'm also trying to film this right in front of an open, door, so that we have more light. It's tricky though, especially with satin jewelry or something like pearls, where it's so reflective, right? Okay, so these cute little hearts and hoops, I just love. The main component is the hoop component, right? That little white rubber thing just covers the post, and it ships, but obviously it slips right off. And then they come with a butterfly back, or we have the little rubber stopper backs that are really cute too. So even though all of our metals, this is sterling over stainless steel, so there's no nickel or lead or anything, but still some people prefer, as pure metal as possible. But these are a gorgeous hoop, and so really, this is lovely to wear on its own almost, and so it just needs a simple drop. We are going to first use, if I can pick it up, an eye pin to do the little bead that is right between there. And while you could use just a piece of wire, I prefer an eye pin because they are harder, right? The metal is half hard, but an eye pin, when it's specifically, machine made, it's pretty stiff. And what's great about that is that then it will keep its shape. It won't bend all over the place. When you're trying to bend it, you want something to give you resistance, right? If it just bends with your wrist, then it's going to be all, wonky and not hold the shape you want. Okay, so just scoot some things over here so I can fit So the first thing I'm going to do is open the loop on that eye pin to the side with my chain nose and put on our little heart. There's no back or front to it, so. And depending on how low the hole is, I should say, you could make the loop on the eye pin, larger, because we don't want this snug, so there's no movement. And so you could make that eye pin a little bit bigger if you needed to, but I think this is okay. Okay. So that's our silver one on there. Then on this one, I've done a 4mm, scoot her over here, 4mm rondelle crystal and a little 2mm bead on the top. And then I did a bicone dangle on a ball head pin. I'm going to do this a little opposite. I'm going to do a bicone here in the body. And I am just I'm going to do a silver, maybe. Okay, so we'll do a silver bead on the top. And we're going to make this loop up here. And I'm just going to do a standard loop size. I just need it to go around the hoop itself, and so it doesn't need to be particularly larger or smaller. I do want to make sure, though, that I am bending this back in this so that this loop goes in the same direction as the loop on the bottom. Right, so that it hangs straight. And if it doesn't, and I apologize if I move out of frame, I have to see what I'm doing. Right, so if we look at it and it's not even, or it got a little cattywampus, we just have to adjust it to make sure it's straight. Okay. So then all I'm going to do is open the loop I made on the top to the side, put on my hoop. And now we have a designated front to the earring, right? Now this becomes definitely the front. And I'll put on this back. There's a little rubber one I put on that one. And I'll put her here. So stand it up. Then I'm going to use ball head pin. And while this one just had a bicone, I'm going to do a daisy spacer on the bottom that gives us a little more of a decorative finish. And I'm going to do a transparent, find the hole. There we go. In an opal. I thought this was transparent. That's a little opal-y. This one's transparent. It's closer anyway. You can see it a little bit better. Okay. So then I'm going to cut and make this loop. Now, this loop could stand to be a little bit smaller. We're going to see it straight on like that. And so the, bigger or smaller doesn't, really matter so much. You've got room here for it to hang. What does matter, though, is that you make both of these the same size loops. I mean, as close as possible, because you're going to, see them. Though, the other side of that is, your ears are on, two sides of your head, and so it's not like someone's standing there. But if you were making them to, give them away or sell them or something, and you were looking at them straight on, you'd want those loops to be the same size. And I'll grab a ruler here in a second to help. So I've opened that. I made the loop, then I opened it to the side to get it in here. And I'm going to get it through that loop in the front. and close it back up to the side. And that's it. Look how cute. Right, and we have tons of other, components. And so if you want to do a different shape of something instead of a heart, you could. But so cute. So pretty. Okay, so there is one earring. Let me figure out where I'm going to put these. Okay. Now let's do that one. We'll do this. And we're going to do the matching earring for both. Okay. Now, I have some of this already pre-done, so it'll save us some time. So this earring uses just a little ball ear wire, as opposed to maybe something like a French hook that you might have. And generally, it's just preference, right? I just try to use a design and size based on the balancing the earring out. Right, this heart, this larger heart, uses this large ball head pin, or ball ear wire. That would be way too massive for this earring, right? Like it's the same size as the component. So we want to balance that out. When I like a ball head pin a lot, because this loop is easy to open and attach things, especially when we're moving them around a lot. While a loop on a French wire opens, it can be hard, and if you open it, even to the side, you can mess it up, and it's tricky to fix it. Anyway, we're going to use these, but I'm not a big fan of that shape they come in, so I'm going to reshape it so it's a little more rounded and hangs a little better. So the first thing I'm going to do is, especially because of the way this is going to hook through that component, I'm going to open this loop and roll it around my plier so it's a little more rounded. Can you see that? That's the one that came in. This one's a little more rounded. I know it's subtle. You could even do it a little bit better. But it depends on, what you're working with and how you want it to be. But I want more of an opening here than long and lean like that. Okay. Then I'm going to take a dowel, and this, I think it's 5/8, but you can also use it like a pin. A dowel is easier to hang on to, but I've got it around this pin. I've shoved it on there because actually the pin is fatter than the ear wire is, but I've shoved it on there, and I'm going to bring the tail. I'm holding this flush on top, bringing the tail around to the front. Pretty much around it. Boop. Now it's round. So pretty. Then, if you need to, because look at the difference, then you can also then take your round nose and, give that tail a little bit of a tweak. It needs a little bit more finessing, but it's pretty. Huh. Lovely. Okay. So, I'm going to put this on. We're going to dangle, well, doesn't matter what you do first, I guess. I've explained before in other videos that I keep a lot of these little crystals on head pins with a loop all the time, because I have a lot of designs that use it, like including the bracelet I'm wearing, right? And so I put them together and take them apart many times, so I always have a bunch. But you do your crystal on a ball head pin, and for this to go over this, we want to make sure it's a pretty good size, so maybe a little bit bigger than what you might typically use. Let me grab a ruler. Generally, when I'm leaving that wire to cut a basic loop, I use I think it's 1 centimeter on this side. You could say 1/4 inch, but it's actually a little bit longer than that. But I'll put that off to the side. Okay. But I've opened that loop to the side the tiny crystals on the ball head pin dangling off the bottom. Now, I'm going to dangle this freshwater pearl in the center, and it has a little bead on the bottom. It's long and kind of fit in there nicely. Now, it can't just hang off that ear wire because it won't lay nicely. So it'll just kind of boing back, and it'll hang higher. We need it to hang longer, so it hangs in like the window part of this kind of cutout card or tag, whatever you want to call it. So I'm going to open the jump ring, just a tiny one, 4mm, or I guess you could open the loop on the bead too. Either way, it wouldn't matter. You just have to open one of them, but you want to make sure it's closed flush. Okay. I'm going to open that ear wire to the side, that little loop we made in the front. I'm going to have this go through here, all the way around, and you kind of finesse it here. And before I close that, this is not closed all the way. If you can see space between it, or where's my, sorry. It's easier to close a jump ring if you use 2 chain nose, or this is a bent chain nose. Okay. So before I close that loop, I'm going to string on this over the ear wire. So this falls in the back of the earring. Then I'm going to close this, or turn this to the side. Make sure it's even front. And that way it's falling in the center. Right? If it was not on that jump ring, it would hang higher, right? It would go up higher, and then it would stick out straight towards the back too. So by putting it on the jump ring, it hangs lower, so it hangs kind of in the window, but it also has more movement, right? So cute. So you could obviously do anything there, any little bead in there, any bead off the bottom. Very easy to use those little components. Okay, this one's a little similar but different. Okay, and I already did the gold ear wire in the rounded kind of shape, so it's ready to go. Now, to dangle all those off the bottom, I have 4 little crystals. You could do, I have 3 4mm and 1 3mm. Let me use in the back. Then I'm going to use 2 sizes of jump ring, a 4 and a 6. It's like a 5 really. I'm going to do the 5 around the component so that it fits, easily. Oh, and I could, we'll put them on. It doesn't matter. You could put the beads on now. You could open the loops on the beads, which is what I generally do. Because this way I can get the jump ring on flush. And, excuse me. And now I'm going to open the smaller one and hang that off that one. So I've got 2 jump rings. And if you can hang this off of anything, a stand or a coffee cup, anything, right, that you can hang that off of. And these loops might look a little wonky. These are all from various projects, like I mentioned. But I'm going to do this larger bicone in the middle, and then these 2 4mm kind of opaque ones on the sides. So I'm going to put this bicone in the center on the bottom jump ring. Then I'm going to open these to the side and put these on either side of that bicone. Or technically you could have strung them all on when you were putting the jump ring on and close the jump ring. Just think it's easier to close the jump ring when there's nothing on it, but whatever you want to do. Okay. Those 3 are on, right? Then all we have to do is put this smaller one, this is my 3mm, opening to the side, and it's going to go through the loop, the larger jump ring, the one that was higher, so that it falls higher than the other 3, and then creates more of a cluster, right? It also kind of lays in front of the other jump ring so you don't see it, and creates, again, more of this lovely cluster. And with this being a smaller size, you can easily see the crystals in the back. Cute, huh? I just love that. You could obviously do any color palette here. If you've purchased any of the color mixes, you just need a small amount of the crystals. They don't even have to like match, right? They just need to be in the right color story. Easy peasy. Okay. Next, let's do this one in gold. She's so cute. Okay. And we're going to start again with the eye pin in our small part. And we're going to open the loop to the side. If the loop is big enough to fit the component loosely so it's not tight, then it's fine. Otherwise you can make the eye larger. Okay, but that works okay. So we've got our little heart on there, and then we're just gonna have the beads for the center. Oh, I already have the other one done, I should say. Here's the gold one. Okay, so I used a little 4mm bicone and a little 2mm in the purple. All for the crystals, what was just important is the size, is creating the length here. I wanted the heart to fall in a specific place. If I just used the bicone, it would be up higher, so you have to play around with it a little bit. But that, size seemed to work. I also used a 4 and a 3. And that one, just slightly different finishes. Okay, now I'm going to create a loop on the top. This one's going to be a little bit larger because it has to go around this component, right? So generally, where I would cut this about 1 centimeter, like I was saying, and I just eye it, but so I'm going to leave it just a smidge longer, because we can always cut it down, we can't make it longer. Then the other important thing is to make sure we bend that back and this loop is in the same direction as the bottom loop. And we're going to go up a little bit further on the plier because we're making a larger loop. And then you want to stop and look and make sure they're even, they're going in the same, that they're not off by a little bit, because otherwise the heart will turn, right? And if they are, it's not a big deal. We just adjust it, turn it. And you may not even be able to tell until it's like on the component. I'm going to open this back up, string on the component, and technically I would put on this jump ring too, but I'll do it in just a second. Oops, there we go. So go ahead and close that. That's not closed evenly. See how those moving all over the place? Okay. Then take another 4mm jump ring, and I'm using a small French wire. I have the loop against a shorter French wire than that longer one I showed you before. Right, so it just depends on the size of the earring. This is already getting a little bit longer. I like the flattened one a little bit better. Sometimes, like I said, it's just a matter of preference, but we want to make sure we've got the right size going on. I'm going to put this jump ring through my loop I made there and through the loop on the ear wire. There's no front or back specifically to this, design. So, and then we just want to make sure the jump ring is closed flush. That's it. Look how cute. Easy peasy. Right? So darling. You didn't have to do a jump ring. You could have opened the ear wire or turned the ear wires, but I actually like the look of the jump ring on there. It's a nice balance. It also gives it more, movement. So, okay. Now what are we doing? The big hearts. Oh, we're doing so good. So we can get this done in 4 minutes. It'll only be half an hour. Let's try. Scoot that out of the way. This is a pretty easy earring. Okay. And I already have the piece made for us as well. Okay, so I'm using a large ball head pin, or large ball ear wire, right? Because the heart is pretty large. And I am needing jump ring. And then this little textured link is just a chain link. And my let me just get this here. So we're going to take off one of these. Now these are not jump rings, so you can't, I use them in place of a jump ring, but unlike a jump ring, they're really steady, that you can open and close and move around. You can really open and close these only like twice. The third time you try to move these, it'll break. But they're just so pretty, the way they're textured. Okay. Now, I did a larger crystal on this one. Come on. And the only thing that was kind of important here was that, it showed up. So that's opaque on there. So it shows up against the satin. Even though this is transparent, it actually shows up really nicely. Okay, doke. So, going to just put that through there. You can decide, because there is actually a front, there's not a front or back on the component, but once you decide which direction one of them are, then you're going to turn it so the other one, faces the opposite direction. Okay, I'm going to make sure this jump ring is closed, flush. And all I've done is strung on the component and the jump ring, close this flush, and push. Okay. Now, here's the jump ring. I'm going to just get in there. There we go. Then I'm going to put the ear wire. Now, there's a front and a back to the ear wire and a front and back into the earring. And so that's the wrong direction. So now we turn it and go the other way. Ta-da! Right, there's only one of two ways. And there we go. So pretty. And there it is in silver. And again, when I use that larger ear wire. And it's only 29, well, almost 30 minutes. Hooray! I will still do that sweetheart one like as a separate one because there's a lot of steps to it. But I'll put links below. for you to jump on over, to the website, and probably going to actually do a discount on these and mark these last. I only have a few of each of these kits left since Valentine's Day is almost here, so I might mark down those last few. Oh, I did want to show you just a couple more things. Kidding. So, right, all the hearts we used, whoopsie, are all available as separate components. Very inexpensive, between like $1.25 and maybe $2.95 is the largest one. And I've done that. Oh, you can't see it. That's okay. As a necklace. It's very cute. I'll lift it a little bit, but it's a very cute necklace that you could do in silver. I've done that as a pendant necklace, and then my bracelet is our Dancing Hearts charm bracelet, which is super cute. Right, that has all the little hearts and components, and then a bigger one here with that lovely toggle. She's just gorgeous. So that's available as a bracelet in gold or silver, and then you can also do it as a necklace with that as the pendant. So I'm sorry you can't see it all, but I can lift it a little bit. But really, really cute. I can take it off here. But just darling, right? I think it's just really super, super cute. So those are available as kits in silver or gold, and again, beautiful to wear year round, I think. So thank you for joining me for some lovely romantic jewelry looks. Please subscribe to the channel if you've not already. Definitely leave a comment or a like. That's, I guess, good for the video. I'll get the hang of this one day. And I'll leave a link to the website below. You can sign up for our newsletter. That way I generally email my customers about these kits and things before I put the video up. So if you want to get advance notice about designs and things, you can sign up. Thanks again for joining me today. And until next time, sparkle brightly like the star that you are. Peace.